I learned a rule a long time ago that has really helped me with my real estate investing, and
Okay.
it's called the 10-10-10 rule.
Okay.
And I found that when people follow the 10-10-10 rule, that they make good decisions and they enjoy the real estate investing process.
Bienvenidos a este podcast Atlanta Dulce Hogar, dedicado al real estate, comprar, invertir o vender. Hoy tengo el placer de tener conmigo al señor Mike Prewett. Él es mi broker y bueno, vamos a hacer esto en inglés, así que thank you so much, Mike, for coming here. I was just introducing you to the podcast and saying how honored I am to have you here.
I have no idea what you just said about me. I hope it was okay.
No, you can tell somebody. It wasn't anything bad. It was just saying that, I'm going to have you here. You're my broker. And it's a pleasure. My podcast or this space is dedicated to the people that wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, and more to let them know how can, information and things that if they want to move forward with buying or selling or investing in real estate, we have knowledge here. And that's why I brought you here, because I know you have a lot of knowledge. What is it? More than 30 years of experience in 1 year,
Yeah,
1,500.
It's been a long time.
Yes.
It has, right.
Well, it's a pleasure having you here. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, this will be fun.
Yeah.
And my Spanish-speaking friends out there, if
Yeah.
he says mean things about me, call me and let me know. Okay?
Yes, please. Your information is going to be here so they can call you and let
Okay,
you know.
good. You help
Maybe
me out
we can
here.
put the email or the TikTok address and then, So I always like to start the podcast with this question. What is the three things that your house must have?
Wow, that's a good question. Well, it must have indoor plumbing.
Okay.
Electricity would be really nice.
Really good.
Right.
Okay.
As a guy, I don't need that much.
Yeah.
I don't need that much. Now, my
feel you.
wife, I don't know if she could keep it to three things or not.
That's why I only say three things.
But I have to put location probably up at the top of my list. It needs
Okay.
to be convenient to the other areas in my life, like work.
Okay.
Right? I don't want to spend all day in the car.
Exactly.
Church is important to us. Golf is important to us. So I call it a triangle. I want my house within that triangle.
Great.
So, because if you live in a city like Atlanta, you got to be careful with that, right? Or you can live your life in your car.
That's right.
Right. So I'd have to put location up right up there at the top.
Okay, so location, kitchen, no kitchen.
I don't care.
You don't
I just
care?
need some
Whatever,
Fritos.
yeah,
I'll be fine.
Whatever, it can be cooked, right? You can
That's it.
throw
Give
it-
me a grill in the backyard. I'll be fine.
There you go.
Right.
So you're a broker. If you have to explain what is a broker to somebody, let's say you're traveling, you're going somewhere in any country. I don't know. It doesn't really matter which country. And somebody asks you, so what do you do, Mike? And then how would you explain to them?
Oh,
what
I
you
do this every day. I run an adult daycare center. And I
That's
have
awesome,
240 children here
There
that
you
I'm
go.
responsible for
I'm one of
herding
them.
and corralling. And he doesn't always, he acts up every once in a while. So that's kind of my role. We operate a business that allows the real estate agents to operate their business under that umbrella.
Exactly.
So we are responsible for the business of the business. So we keep you out of real estate jail. That's
very
one.
good. Thank you for that.
The administrative and technical aspects. So part of every day is spent on technology issues, of which I am not very. I hire smart people.
Like Celia Cruz used to say, my English not very good looking. So your technology savvy not very good looking.
Right. That's right. And the administrative parts of it so that our agents can help their customers and they have all the support systems around them that they need.
Okay. Well, that would be complicated to somebody that doesn't have any idea what a broker is. So
Yeah.
mainly you said childcare.
Adult daycare.
I love it. Yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
You can
Adult
drop
daycare.
your real estate agent husband off here at the office, and we will take care of him until you're ready for him to come home every day.
There you go. All right, and then let me refer you to Camille, so I can also get some from that.
Exactly.
If somebody were to invest in real estate, what would be a tip? Recommendation you will give to them? Like, what is something that
I learned a rule a long time ago that has really helped me with my real estate investing, and it's called the 10-10-10 rule.
Okay.
And I found that when people follow the 10-10-10 rule, that they make good decisions and they enjoy the real estate investing process. Now, it's a pretty old rule. I learned this back in the 80s.
Okay.
But it's
I was
still
born in the 80s.
Yeah,
82.
so it's as old, and you're pretty old.
Yeah.
It's that old, and it works like this. The first rule is, you can see, is keep your interest rate under 10%.
Okay.
Which is still possible in today's world. So that try to keep less than 10% of your own money into a transaction. And if that's not possible, keep as little of your own cash into the deal as you can. The great advantage with real estate investing is leverage. If I want to buy $100,000 house, is there still such a thing as a $100,000 house? Does it? No. Okay, well, let's pretend.
Yeah, maybe broken, maybe all torn up, maybe with a crazy tenant.
Well, if I want to buy $100,000 worth of stocks, I have to have $100,000.
That's right.
But if I want to buy a $100,000 house, I don't.
No,
I might need $10,000, and then I borrow the rest. And if somebody is crazy enough to give me 30-year money at a low interest rate, I'm going to take it. And I'm going to take as much of it as I can. So leverage is a key thing when it comes to real estate. It's the power.
Okay.
So keep your cash as limited as possible into the deal, ideally less than 10%. And the final rule is the most important. Okay. If you break this rule, you're going to hate life. Yeah. You will hate the piece of real estate you just bought, and you will hate everybody and everything around it.
Okay.
Keep it within 10 miles of where you live.
Is that what they call passive income?
Could be. Real estate has some unique advantages to it. So there's many tax advantages. So the interest I pay on that mortgage, that's tax deductible. Okay. So it lowers my taxable income each year. It lowers my tax obligation.
Yes.
The IRS has a crazy view when it comes to real estate.
Okay.
They think my real estate goes down in value every year. Well, you know what goes up in value in around real estate? What goes up?
The equity?
The land that the house sits on goes up in value. The house itself is like your car. Yeah. Every year it's worth less. So the IRS allows me to depreciate the house on a schedule on my tax returns, which what that does is it just lowers my tax obligation. So instead of paying this much in income taxes, now I'm paying this much.
Exactly.
That's good, right?
Of course.
Yeah, we love that.
I love it, yeah.
But
freedom is not free.
Well, I tell you what else is going on, why I'm lowering my tax obligation each year. The tenant is paying off the house for me.
That's right.
Right.
But so when we call it passive income, we just chill, sit back, and relax.
No, there's no such thing as passive income. Right. That makes people want to believe that you can just sit home and watch cartoons all the time and eat Fritos and people just send you money. That's not true. There's work and effort. My big tip is keep the property within 10 miles of where you live. And
so you don't have to drive that long when you have to go to the house or when you have to. Is that the idea?
Yeah. I can remember buying this house quite a while ago, but it was on the other side of Atlanta. Okay. And I remember this, Miguel, walking out of closing the day I bought that house and thinking, I think I am the smartest person I've ever met. Like, I am so smart. I was driving home thinking, I am the smartest guy in Atlanta. I just
yelling out the window. Woo-hoo.
I hated that house. I hated that house with a passion. And when I think about it now, I start getting mad all over again because it was 45 minutes there and 45 minutes back. So I had to oversee the repair process. Every time a tenant had an issue or the house was vacant and I had to show it to possible tenants, I had to drive all the way over there, and then they don't show up for the appointment.
It wasn't a Supra?
I have to drive all the way back home. I came to hate that house.
Yeah.
And I sold it and I lost money on it, and it's a terrible story. Yeah. But the thing I did wrong, why was I buying a house on the other side of Atlanta? What in the world was I thinking? If it had been right down the road from where I live, it wouldn't have been a big deal. It wouldn't have been a big hassle. I would have dealt with it just fine. Keep it where you live. Keep it within 10 miles of where you live.
Where you live. So it makes it easier for you to do anything in there, right?
It does. It allows you to control the tenants that you put in there, to keep an eye on the property, and to love it instead of hate it.
That's right. It's way better, right? Than just like having to go all the way across you mean like all the side of the city?
It's the most important thing.
Most important. So 10 miles, no more than that, 10% and less than 10% of your money in it.
I hear people say they want to pay off their house, and that's always a mystery to me. Like, why would you want to pay off your house?
I've heard that. I haven't gotten it clear yet, but I think that's a good recommendation to give.
Here's the deal. If you're willing to give me a lot of money with a really low interest rate for 30 years, I'm going to take it. And I'm going to use my money to go do something else, like go buy another property.
Exactly.
And hopefully you'll give me more money at a low interest rate for 30 years. And then I'm going to use my cash to go buy another one. I don't want my cash tied up in a non-liquid asset like a house that I can't just get it when I need it. I want my money working for me, and mortgage money's cheap.
I'm on my niche, or the clients that I serve mostly, which are Hispanic or foreigners. Most of the time they tell me like, but why would I pay 5 houses to get one only? And there is something that I always get every tax year. I get it, the 1098, which is the interest that I have paid, and I can deduct. That's what you refer to, right?
That's right. So you pay. I mean, would you rather keep your money or give it to the IRS?
All right, keep it.
Me too. And that's how it works. Are Spanish-speaking people, are they interested in wealth building?
Of course.
They are.
Yeah, we all, I don't know if they all know it, but yes, I am interested in generational wealth, right?
So there's no better way to do it than real estate. So watch, let's play a short little game.
Please.
I have this belief. It's just my belief. You don't have to believe it, but I believe that the deal of a lifetime comes along 3 times a month.
Okay. Oh, because every quarter, right? No.
I think, I can remember having a girlfriend in high school and thinking that I couldn't live without her. Thank God I didn't marry her. I thank God every day. Thank God I did. That girl that I thought I couldn't live without, thank God I could live without her. The deal of a lifetime comes along 3 times a month. So let's say this. Let's say that, how old are you?
41.
41. Let's do this. Every year for the next 10 years, you buy 1 house. You only have to buy 1 house a year.
1. So
you can be picky. Okay. You can look and wait and try to find just a really good, solid deal that's close to where you live, right?
Yes.
And you put a tenant in there. So you used a little bit of your money to acquire the property, but now the tenant's going to start making the mortgage payments for you.
Okay.
The rent.
Yes.
The rent should more than cover the mortgage payment. Okay. So this year you buy 1. Next year you buy another. Then the year after that, you do 1. Now in 10 years, you'll be 51.
51.
You'll own 10 houses. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't buy another one.
Stay there.
Stay there.
Okay.
Now in 10 more years, you still own those 10 houses, right?
Yeah.
And they're paid off. And who paid them off?
The tenants.
The tenants paid them off for you.
Yeah.
And now you own.
And the maintenance, I pay for it, right?
Well, it'll come out of the rent too.
Okay.
Now you own 10 houses. You are how old now?
51.
You're, okay.
Oh,
so
61. Sorry.
61. So now you're 61. I'm 61.
Okay.
So you'll look like me.
There you go. Hopefully
Well,
better.
maybe if he's lucky.
Hopefully better.
So you'll be my age. You'll own these 10 houses. They're paid off. Now you own 10 paid off houses. So let's say that you bought them and you collect $2,000 a month in rent today.
Okay.
And they're $200,000 houses. Well, in 20 years, you're going to be getting probably $300 to $3,500 a month in rent,
Yeah.
and they're not going to be 200,000 houses.
No.
They're probably going to be $300,000 houses.
Oh.
So now the tenants have paid all 10 houses off for you. How much is 10 houses that are $300,000 in value? What is that?
300, 500 is what, like
It's
300?
$3 million.
3 million.
You now own $3 million in real estate, free and clear.
Wow.
And you're getting $30,000 a month or more a month in rent.
There you go.
Did you just create wealth?
Yes, and
Okay.
that's how you.
And we haven't even talked about the tax advantages that you got over
all
those
the-
20
all of
years.
those.
But that's how you do it. That's how people do it.
That's what we mentioned in the beginning with the deductions and depreciation and all that, right? That's how.
But
you
that's a
get it.
very simple way of showing you how do people, some people, not everybody obviously, but how do some people change their entire family story? How do
Amen.
they go from struggling to get by
Yeah.
to being strong and healthy financially and actually passing wealth down to your children
Yeah.
and your grandchildren? Well, that's how you do it. Just buy one house a year every year for the next 10 years. And even at 41, by the time you're 61, you will have $3 million in real estate free and clear
more.
and still be getting over $30,000 a month. Now, if you were getting $30,000 a month in rent,
Passive income, right?
would
there.
you be sitting here with me right now?
Probably yes. Yeah, you're a cool guy.
Okay. But you wouldn't have to, would you?
I wouldn't have to. That's it. Yeah,
Right.
I would choose.
That's how you do it.
Yes.
You know how you get started? Watch this. Watch how I do this. The way you get started with this is you hook up with a really smart real estate agent
There you
like
go.
him, and
Thank
he
you.
helps you get started.
There you go.
And until you start, it'll never happen.
That's right.
It starts-
Nothing will happen till you start, right?
You got to get that first one.
That
So
first
people
decision.
need somebody like you to help them navigate this, to figure out how to do it, because it's so hard all by yourself.
That's right. Thank you for those recommendations. Really good. One thing, 30 years in real estate, I've heard, and you have said it to me, 1,500 houses sold in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
There's gotta be an anecdote, like funny anecdote with your work or what you did. Is there anything you haven't told us that you can say in camera?
Well, there's a lot. There's a lot of interesting things about this job.
Yes.
Okay, so I think the big benefits of it are we get to help people with something as important as the largest financial investment they're probably ever going to make in their life, but as personal as the home where they raise their family.
Yeah.
Not many people can say that. So it's incredibly rewarding. But do you get to see a lot of crazy stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. You get to see a lot of crazy. I think probably the craziest thing I ever saw was I got hired. A bank hired me to sell one of their foreclosure properties one time, probably about 15 years ago. And when I pulled up to the house for the first time, I was stunned. In the front yard, in front of the house, was a water fountain. Well, that's not crazy.
No.
But the water fountain was 23 feet high and shaped like a cobra snake.
Was that Kobe
the
Bryant?
snake's head was above the roof line. And the water came up through the snake, which was the fountain, and it came out the cobra's mouth.
Wow.
Oh, that's not the crazy part.
Not even.
No, that's just the start.
That's just-
Guess where the water was
welcome.
coming from? They
The
had
sewer?
No. They had a concrete, and when I say a river, you're going to understand how deep and wide this was in a second. A concrete river ran around the property, but guess where it originated from? I know, it just gets crazier and crazier. In the backyard, they had this gigantic saltwater pool with shark and dolphin tanks.
Shark?
They had sharks and they had dolphins.
Oh my God.
So imagine how big the pool was and how deep and big the river was, so the dolphins and the sharks could swim around the concrete river of the property.
Wow.
And they had to keep them, obviously, sharks.
Was it easy to sell that?
Sharks and dolphins don't get along well, right? So they had gates, and so they could release them at different times.
I'm thinking this is huge, or it's like they were uncomfortable in there. Those animals.
I don't. They don't talk much, so it's hard to know. That was a very interesting property to sell.
Oh wow!
Right.
Cobra, shark, river. Oh wow!
I think the next most interesting was Evel Knievel's house.
Were you able to sell it? That one? Yeah.
Wow. You can sell any house. You just got to find somebody that likes sharks and dolphins, and apparently
snakes.
cobras.
Cobras, yeah.
I sold Evel Knievel's house. He had a house here in Roswell, and the funny part about it was he had an indoor pool. The whole house smelled like chlorine. Every room in the house smelled like an indoor swimming pool, because there was one right in the middle of the house.
Oh, wow. Incredible.
Crazy.
Evel Knievel. I remember that. Oh, the guy that would jump.
The motorcycle jump guy. Right.
Stuntman, I guess they call it stuntman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I never seen a house.
Hey, you know
the
what?
only one is the castle house?
It was easier to sell the shark and dolphin house than it was to sell a house with a swimming pool in the middle of the house.
Yeah.
If you can imagine,
show it,
like your living room in your house, turn it into an indoor pool. Now sell that.
It's gonna be hard. Yes.
There's a lot of crazy out there.
It's gonna be great for parties and stuff. So, depending what you want to do, right? Like if you have a family, don't buy that one. If you're single, then maybe, right?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't think it's that kind of show right now, is it?
No, it's not that kind of show. It's a family
show. Okay.
So one of the most how can I say this, most weird or rare houses that I've seen in the United States is the castle house in Roswell, and in Venezuela, the city where I grew up in Maracaibo, there is a boat house. So this is concrete, right? And it's shaped like a boat, not a ferry, but like a boat. And then around the house, it would be this little pool that to resemble the sea. That's the two most crazy house I see, but nothing with a cobra or anything like that.
Hey, folks, don't do this. Don't build houses like these. They don't sell real well.
No?
No.
Well,
they sell, but price has to go way down.
Has to go down.
Right.
Because that guy built it because he liked that, but not because
maybe he was just taking a lot of drugs or something. I don't know.
Probably, right? Okay, so that's really an anecdote. And what else? Let me think. How do you think, just going another topic, how do you think the World Cup 2026 is gonna affect the real estate market? And another thing though is 2024 is Copa America. 2025 there is a World Cup of clubs. And then 2026, the World Cup for men. 2027, the World Cup for women.
Right.
And then the Summer Olympics, they're also placed.
So I think the Men's World Cup, I think it's going to have a significant impact on real estate in this country, because I think the Americans are going to dominate the World Cup to such an extent that everybody's going to want to move here from all over the world.
Well, right now that's happening with Messi being in Miami.
Yeah.
Do you think it affected the market and everything went up in price just because he's there?
No, but I think after the U.S. national team dominates everybody in a humiliating fashion, especially the South American countries, that everybody
Like Argentina and Brazil, right? Venezuela is really bad in soccer. I mean, it's not. We've never been to a World Cup, so.
I think everybody's going to want to move here because they're going to think we're just the best in the world at soccer, and they want to be here.
So, for example, like, do you think it's gonna bring short-term rents up in 2026 just because it's in the cities that are being host for the World Cup?
I don't know. I'm old enough to remember when Atlanta hosted the 96 Olympics, and there was all kinds of speculation of what it was going to do. It was a short-term economic impact to us, but it didn't really have an impact on the real estate market or values. For 2 weeks, we made a lot of sales tax money, and we sold a lot of hotel rooms, but then everybody went back home, and we were stuck with all these facilities that we couldn't use. So I don't know. It's hard to say stuff like that.
All right. Yeah, I mean,
but I do think we are going to win the World Cup.
Man, I mean, you guys are getting ready. There are some few players that I follow, so that's also why I included in the conversation. Why do you call it football instead of handball? Just kidding. We're gonna cut that.
That's actually a really good question. I have no idea. Probably just to irritate the rest of the world. That's how Americans are, right?
Well, you know that I read the other day, I was like looking, why is that? And it was really from England, and they just say, okay, we can touch with the hands, we cannot, and then a dispute, and then they just divided the game.
Could be. I think it's very likely that a group of Americans got together and had a meeting and said, what would really irritate the rest of the world? If you called it football, that would make them mad. Let's do that.
Let's do that, right? Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mike, for being here.
Let's do it again.
Please.
Can I offer a tip?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to create wealth? You want to create wealth for your family? Control where you live? There's no better way to create wealth in this country than through real estate. And the way you get started, and that is the hard part, is to get started. You associate with a really strong real estate agent like Miguel, and you reach out to him today and you say, I want to start the process of putting my family in an entirely different position. And you start that today, and they start it with somebody like you because that's your job, and I know you get thrilled by helping people do that.
Yes, I do. And
it's not easy. It's hard, but like everything worthwhile is hard, right?
Yeah.
So if they were to reach out to you and ask for your help, would you be willing to help them?
Of course. I would be willing to help anybody that wants to be helped.
So I've watched that about you. You have a passion for helping your people.
Yeah.
You do. You want to see them start down the path to generational wealth accumulation and being able to control so that their landlord doesn't tell them they have to move, or what they can paint their house, or what they can do to their house. They control it.
Exactly.
I think it's the great dream everybody has, right?
Yeah, well, that's what they call the American dream, right?
I think it's everybody's dream around the world. And I think you're in a unique position to really help people get started with that.
Yeah.
So I hope you take that really seriously.
I do take it seriously. Thank you so much, Mike. One last thing, though. What do you like or dislike about your job? Is there something that, you can mention?
Yeah, I think it's kind of what I said before. It's, helping with some people with their biggest financial investment, but then it's so personal. Like, I don't know other people that have jobs like that. Like, my insurance agent doesn't get to say that. My insurance policies aren't personal. Yeah. People don't write him thank you notes saying how much he helped change their lives.
That's right. Yeah.
But you do.
I do. I have gotten those notes.
Right. And there's people that are watching or listening to this right now who want things to change in their life, and you're in a unique position to help them change it. And that's an amazing job.
It is.
Yeah. So take it seriously and go help these people.
Amen. I will.
Good.
All right. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias por haber estado ahí presentes. Esto fue Atlanta Dulce Hogar, un podcast dedicado al real estate, al bienes raíces para comprar, vender o invertir. Muchas gracias.